We're going live.
It says preparing. It says we're live. It says preparing your meeting. So
meeting is now streamed live on YouTube.
It is. Wow, excellent, cool. Hello to all our preamble people on YouTube. Whilst I go around dealing with all the.
So this is the time when Tom goes around and starts telling everyone we're live, and leaves me to talk absolutely on my own, without any idea as to really what we're talking about.
Basically, that's it.
And that's what happened last time when we
live. Hang on. It says preparing. It says we're live. Yeah, the light is now gone live on the thingy, and then it automatically just shares the audio. So yeah, that's fine. I've muted it.
Great. Yeah, I just heard myself, and it was like, thanks.
Yeah, that's scary enough. I never want to hear you anyway. So.
Well, you're the one that's got me bursting into your ears out of choice.
Yeah, there is that.
You're the. At least everyone else's is broken up by you talking in between. But yeah, anyway, this is talking completely random. I don't really have much to say at this very second. I feel like we should be saying something. What are you doing, Tom? Are you sending this to lots of different people?
I'm about to. Yeah, I'm just loading up the stream at the moment, and that's why I'm looking so concentrating. Because
I got told. Laura told me I'm not my wife. Do you know I'm married with kids?
Are you married? I didn't know this.
Talking of which, I've actually got my son trying to shout at me. What's up, Killian? Oh, my son's not going to come in. I thought he was going to. But anyway, I got told I'm not allowed to swear on the live stream. I was like to my wife, I was like,
love you.
God,
that was Killian, by the way.
Then. He's grown up so much since then.
Well, it was a year ago.
That was a year ago.
Yeah.
But she said I can't swear. I'm like, you do realise what a podcast's like? And she's like, yeah, but you shouldn't be swearing on a live stream, especially during the day. I was like, why? She's like,
I mean, it's fair point. I mean, I've set the description of the live stream to say that it's for adults only and not for kids, and I always put it as over 18s only when it publishes.
You won't swear. You don't swear as much as I do.
I do swear, but no, not as much as you. But yeah, I mean, this is
the
disclaimer. We may swear on this live stream. I love that your head's disappeared and it looks like you've got a monkey head. That's just hilarious.
We're gonna have to try and get that. Yeah.
Right, anyway, I need to start sharing this live stream link around because I haven't done it yet.
Have you not done it yet? Am I literally still waiting?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's fine.
My God.
It's fine. We're not due to start till yet anyway. So
yes, we are. 15:45, you said.
Right. That's
what you said. Not 15:45 to muck about trying to tell everyone we're live. Don't know what that was about. Yeah, so now we're waiting for Tom. We're always waiting for Tom. Have you noticed this? We're always waiting for Tom. You'll say we're waiting for me. No, we're waiting for Tom to muck about.
Thanks.
Do you notice that I said muck about instead of?
Yeah, well done. That's a good start.
I'm trying.
Well, if things happen that we think might be happening in the next few weeks, then we may have to temper our swearing anyway, because we might be having some impressionable youngsters on the show. So we would have to watch our language if that did happen.
Don't talk about Bez like that. He's not impressionable.
No, and he's not a youngster.
Actually, yeah, he's older than me. But yeah.
Right, I'll just send it to the Grid Talk guys because they often come and contribute. So I'll just.
I've gone vanishing again. Yes, my son's laughing at me because he's got YouTube up, and is now showing me YouTube as to.
Oh, so he's watching us live.
He's watching it, but I can't show you. But he's got, I've got a glass door in between where I am in the hallway, and he's currently got the phone up against the window, which makes a change from my daughter licking the window.
First window licking comment.
Yeah, there we go. We've got. She'll be licking the window at some point. I'm sure she'll be up at some point. But my son's quite excited that I'm live, so I definitely can't swear. Actually, what was it the other day? We were doing something, and he just turned around to someone. He came out, or he went to his mum and just turned around and went, "What the F are you doing?" I was like, this is so awkward.
I remember my nephew threw he threw a toy car. He's probably around Killian's age, actually, maybe a little bit older. He threw a toy car at my lip from point blank range, and hit me on the lip and split my lip. And
how many times can you say it? Zip?
I know. I can't get Slack to load, so I'm not going to bother sending that. And then I told him off for it, and he looked at me and then just said the F word and started crying.
You want me to put it on Slack?
If you want to. Right, okay, we're going to start the podcast. And I established... I haven't actually thought of our... let's not bother doing an opening gambit, because I haven't even thought of one yet.
I've done one.
Oh, okay. I need to think of one then.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay, we've had a comment from Darren. No licking Wandos, apparently.
Wandos?
Yeah, he means Windows, but it's Wandos. Hi, Darren. Good to see you. Right.
Good to see you. What? Where is he?
Well, he's not on there. Good to see your emoji.
I can't get into Slack either. What's going on? What is going on? This is very boring. I'm sorry.
This is going to be really boring for the first few minutes, but this isn't the podcast. This is just a preamble.
Yeah, don't get too excited. Oh, for God's sakes. It now wants me to sign in. Oh, this is painful. What is wrong with this system? Like, seriously. Like, Slack is the most annoying thing in the world. Although it is quite clever, it does get a bit annoying. Does anyone know? Maybe we could be sponsored by Slack. We were having this debate the other day as to who we should get sponsored by. And I've decided we've got to try and get sponsored by Rich Energy. That is now my one aim, is to be sponsored by Rich Energy. I don't know how, but William Story, I'm coming for you. I will find a way I'll slide into your DMs somehow. I don't know how, but do you reckon he's on? He's got to be on LinkedIn, hasn't he?
He's bound to be, isn't he? Yeah, that'll do. Right, that'll do. It's not funny. Sorry in advance. I haven't got a funny opening gambit, but it's never funny anyway. To be fair, it's just a welcome to the podcast. Right, I'm going to have to try and drink with my left hand, I think, because this coffee's getting in the way. Right, should we...
I like this first world problems.
Should we give this a go, then?
Yeah, just clarifying something.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready for the big one? Ready? Name the musical. Come on, are you ready? Are you ready for the big one? Ready? Okay.
No, go on then.
Starlight Express.
Oh,
answer
God.
Me yes.
No, I've never seen it.
Have you never seen it?
I've never seen Starlight Express.
I mean, it's hard to see because you have to have roller skates, and no one does it.
Yeah.
But I saw it at, where does it? I think I saw it at the Apollo, here where Wicked is. I think I was there.
I was supposed to go and see it when I was a kid at school, but it never happened. So
yeah. Or maybe I saw Fame there. I can't remember which one I saw where.
Apparently, William Story's on Twitter, Darren says. We knew he was on Twitter.
I don't care about him on Twitter.
Because Karl's not on Twitter.
Speaking to anyone on Twitter is like...
it's very difficult. You only really get journalists on Twitter. That's the only people you can really ever contact on Twitter. It seems to be.
I don't like Twitter at all.
Well, people like Sean and Mark I contacted on Twitter, and they got back to us.
All right.
And they're kind of more in.
So how are we doing?
Kind of...
Who's winning in the contest for getting guests on? Yeah, I think am I winning? No, you're winning.
I don't know. My one's
even, aren't we?
Yeah, you've had a lot of the businessy people, and I tend to get the people who are involved in the sport in that way. No, it's not a criticism at all. It's the way it seems to work out, because you tend to go through LinkedIn and I tend to go through like normal social media, standard social media. So I'm kind of casting a wider net, whereas you're a bit more specialist. Yeah. I'm just like anyone who's linked to the sport, please come and see us.
His name's William Story, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Right, I'm going to start the podcast.
He's not on here. I'm going to have to find it.
Right, anyway, I'm starting the podcast.
Oh, the music today. I actually quite like this.
Oh, big hit there from Fernando Alonso.
We can talk over this.
Yeah, screw Alonso.
And the Brits are lighting up this sprint race.
I need to put a clip in there, I think.
Yeah.
Is that clock going slowly? It is. That's clock. Oh, God! Michael Schumacher hits David Coulthard and he's out.
Bless you, Murray.
George
Oh.
Russell is the Formula 2 champion.
Oh! Hinchcliffe with a big one.
Big one.
Welcome to the Monkey
Meow.
Seat. As the new season beckons, we take you through our predictions for Bahrain and more. My name is Tom.
And I'm Karl, and you aren't allowed your mobile phone on this podcast, even if you're being asked a question.
Okay, that means absolutely nothing to me.
Have you not watched the Ferrari episode of...
Oh, yes, on Drive to Survive, yeah. No
Yeah,
spoilers. No spoilers on Drive to Survive.
Yeah,
a lot of people
well-
wouldn't have watched it yet. I've managed to binge 7 or 8 episodes, but I'm not...
That's
haven't
not
watched-
really a story. That's not really a giveaway.
Yeah.
It's just, I hate that woman. She
Yeah.
annoyed me. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get on with this proper introduction.
Yes, we are a fully independent podcast hosted by 2 opinionated friends who'd like to put the world to rights.
Visit our website, monkeyseatpod.com, and follow us on all the socials at Monkeyseatpod. We've even got LinkedIn now.
We do, yeah. You can find us on all major podcasting platforms, including YouTube, by searching for the Monkey Seat Podcast.
And if you don't like what you hear, or even if you do, leave us a 5-star review, and we will give you a shout out. No one's doing that at the moment. We need more people.
Oh, we had
did
a new review, but they didn't leave a comment. So thank you to that person, but no. And on today's podcast, we are going to preview the new F1 season, as already mentioned, which starts in Bahrain this weekend.
And we get our Professor Trelawney on and get our crystal balls out and discuss our predictions for the weekend and the season ahead.
Fantastic. So, yes. How are you?
Good. It's all good. But yeah, so my late nights have been taken up by watching Drive to Survive. My evening currently consists of getting the kids in bed as quickly as we possible, then having a little argument with my son about him going to bed because he's like, I've got a question to ask you. And you're like, what's your question? I love you. No kidding, that's a statement. I've got a statement to tell you. Right, anyway, off to bed. Followed by Love Island Australia for an hour. And then I eventually get to watch Drive to Survive. But I was meant to watch Top Gear last night, but then I've still got to get through Drive to Survive. And I couldn't work out which one was better, watching Top Gear or Drive to Survive to discuss today.
Well,
So-
yeah, last night was Line of Duty Day, so we've been waiting for the new season of Line of Duty for about 18 months, so it was kind of waiting for that to start, and then I turned it on and realised that Top Gear was on, and I haven't watched Top Gear in years, and they've got the Odyssey on there, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and then I had to deal with the cats quickly, and then it was right at the end of the episode, so I missed it. I was like, so I'm probably going to...
I've actually gone back and watched all the... for some reason, I got like late evenings because I'm feeding the baby in the evenings. I've been watching all the old Top Gear and went through all the old Top Gears. I went through all the Grand Tours and then went through the new Top Gears. And actually, I think Paddy McGuinness, Freddie Flintoff, and Chris, can't think of his surname now.
I know the guy you mean.
Are actually probably the best ever.
I like
really
Paddy. I mean,
enjoyed
I didn't know Paddy McGuinness was on it until last night because it's been
Yeah.
that long. Last time I watched it, it was still Matt LeBlanc.
Watch the last 2 seasons, or was it 2.5? Because they did this weird 2.5 where they had Freddie and Paddy McGuinness, and they are brilliant. It's so good. Like they did an episode where they had to not leave their car for 24 hours driving around Bolton. They turned a hearse into a family car, but it's just really. They raced around in electric cars around Alton Towers.
Yeah, I did say to Emily, I think I might sort of binge watch all of the previous seasons of Top Gear since Clarkson left because I haven't really. I'd stopped watching it before Clarkson left, to be honest, and I haven't watched it since then. But I caught the odd episode here and there. But I've never watched Grand Tour. Just lost all interest in it.
Oh no, the Grand Tours are all right, but they're not great. But the Matt LeBlanc episodes was fine, but they had Matt LeBlanc, Rory, and Chris, and Rory didn't land for some unknown reason, and then they just forgot about him. They just ignored him for one season. He just vanished, and it was just Chris and Matt. Although Rory was still there doing a bit of presenting, but they didn't really ever engage him in any of the silly tasks. But what's so good about the latest one is it's just the boys going off and doing silly things, and actually they're not being arseholes to each other. Is that a swear word? They're
Pretty much.
not being bums to each other. They're actually being really nice to each other and supporting each other a lot of the time, which is quite nice because it's like, you can still have the banter, but actually when the poo hits the fan, you do need to cop on, and it just feels, and they're not just leaving each other. Anyway.
I'm not sure I like the new PG Karl.
I'm trying not to swear.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you were listening to the YouTube, you'd understand why I'm not swearing. Basically, because it's 3:00 in the afternoon, well, 4:00 because it's just ticked, and my son is watching it on YouTube live, and my wife was like, "You can't swear live on YouTube." I'm like,
It's a fair point, to be fair. So
Anyway.
I mean, maybe it's something we should discuss. I mean, I have got a bleep sound effect somewhere. It's not loaded up in my new soundboard yet.
Yeah, I think
but-
I just need that constantly. I just need, one of those crash buttons. This beep. Yeah. Anyway, but anyway, going back to what I was saying originally, which was about Drive to Survive. Going back onto watching Drive to Survive, it is. I hate Ferrari. I hate Ferrari even more now. They're just a bunch of. They literally have no idea what's. I don't know who I hate more: the communications lady or Bonotto, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, they're a bit of an acquired taste. The team, it's they seem to do things in a bit of an odd way, which can be a bit frustrating. But,
Like the communications woman, you're just like, why are you even there? Go away.
yeah,
Which is really weird. I sent this into a text to you. It's really weird this time because I followed the season religiously this year. Like the previous years, I've known about it and watched odd bits, but this year I followed it absolutely religiously.
yeah.
And it's really
again,
weird to watch.
Try not to give spoilers. I was getting a little bit angry with the amount of artistic license they were using.
By jumping around the season?
Well, not so much jumping around the season because that's just the narrative they're creating. But it's more the fact that, like, for example, they had they've done two. Without trying to spoil too much, they've done 2 episodes that focus on the Italian Grand Prix. One on the Ferrari perspective, one on the Pierre Gasly perspective.
Yeah.
And the one with the Pierre Gasly perspective, they had Charles Leclerc crashing out as the reason for the red flag and the safety car. They made it look like it's a safety car and a red flag.
Yeah,
and it's like there's no reason they wouldn't have closed the pit lane for Leclerc's crash. The reason the pit lane was closed was because I forget which car it was, and maybe Magnussen broke down on the pit entry. And then that's when cars decided to go into the pit lane. Yeah. They then did the restart, and Leclerc crashed on the first lap after the restart.
But you have to understand.
I get that, but it's just it just frustrated me a little bit. And there's some other bits as well where they're just using artistic license to create more drama, which is fine. I get that, it serves a purpose, but it was just it was just triggering me a little bit. I was just kind of sitting there just twitching a little bit, and Emily was like, "Calm down."
See, I don't because I'm not a fanatic, if you will, about Formula One or any, I don't notice anything like that. I did actually question what the hell happened with the red flag because I thought, was that not the one where I couldn't remember whether it was the whole the Tifi crashing into everyone on the back of the grid after the restart.
No, that was Mugello.
It was Mugello. I couldn't remember as to which one it was, and I was like, I can't remember. It definitely wasn't a straight yellow. It wasn't a safety car and a red flag. And I couldn't quite. My memory was trying to play games with me, but I was like,
we had so many races in such quick succession. It's very easy to get the muddle, especially when we had 3 in Italy as well.
Yeah, but they speed on me. That it is weird because I do know about the races this time and what actually happened. So you do end up you're almost waiting for them to stop racing because the racing doesn't actually make much difference. You're not there. Drive to Survive. You're not watching to watch the race again. It's a very different world of what you're looking at it from a personality and business and logistics side more than and sort of monetary side. Which what I didn't realize and I hadn't quite twigged was the reason they got Schumacher was because of the German driver thing.
Well, again, I don't think they did. I think that was kind of part of again, I think that was one of these things that they've kind of created as a potential reason. I don't think it is the reason at all. They've just kind of created that situation to kind of justify
how much
it.
is true and how much isn't.
I mean, we'll probably cover this a bit later on, but because everyone was always saying about how Mick would have gone to Alfa Romeo, and they were surprised that he went to Haas. I've got a theory as to why he went to Haas now.
Oh, go on.
Which I think that, I mean, Alfa Romeo as a team name, I think will be gone at the end of this season. They've only renewed by a year. I think Ferrari losing interest in Alfa.
No,
Sauber.
who owns it?
Sauber.
Oh, so because it's a. Oh, what's your name, Tom?
It's Mott, apparently, according to my screen.
It's definitely Tom from mine. Yeah, which like. Why?
Yeah, so I think that that the Alfa Romeo name is going to disappear off the grid at the end of this year, or they might stay on as a title sponsor, but I don't think it'll be Alfa Romeo Formula One team. I reckon it'll go back to Sauber, or then you might find maybe Renault might buy into them to make them a bit of a junior team, or Mercedes might buy into them to be a bit of a junior team.
So if Renault buy into them, well,
because they've got to repurpose all these staff that they're going to have with the budget cap, because obviously the budget cap was optional last year, but it's mandatory this year. So they've now got to start trimming their numbers, and I think that Ferrari, given that they've announced a supercar program and they're starting to support Haas a lot more than they used to, I think they're losing interest in Alfa Romeo and treating Haas as the reserve team that they can just farm. So it's going to be Mazepin and another Ferrari driver. So they're basically losing all control over who their drivers are going to be.
The thing with Haas is what they've done really well with is on Drive to Survive. He is he's one of the main characters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Steiner and got like that.
You know, that's Gunther Steiner's. He's literally an episode is named after him. Gunther's decision. You know,
every year he gets at least one featured episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, I think episode 9 centers around the Grosjean crash. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be I'm episode 9 is my next one.
I think I'm on episode 7. Right, no, I've got episode 8 to watch next. But I just actually that was the last episode I watched, was the Gunther's decision one. But I think it's a really, I think they're more, especially with Mr. Williams' story, Rich Energy, and all that. It's quite a good, it's quite a good story to have. Do you know what I mean? They're marketable as a thing.
Yeah.
Well, Alfa Romeo, no one cares about Alfa Romeo. They don't care about the drivers. Now they've got a Mick Schumacher and a dodgy dealer. Who's literally. I did like it on Drive to Survive, and this isn't a secret when Steiner just turned around and went, "Yeah, he's quite a good driver, but his dad is a good businessman as well."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, you're literally saying it as it is." So it's quite funny, but we've all said it as well, so it's nothing new. But it's just I just think that Haas have probably got a better sellability and scalability, whereas Alfa just don't.
I mean, Haas don't really have. Yeah, I think Haas Alfa Romeo. Part of the reason again why I think Alfa Romeo have picked the drivers they picked for this year is because they didn't really care anymore. It's like Ferrari said, okay, you got to have a Ferrari Junior in there. So it's like, okay, well, we'll keep Giovinazzi then, or we may as well keep Raikkonen. Yeah. They're literally just they even said they didn't really. I think it's Fred Vasseur said that we just stuck with the same drivers because why not? It's such an uninspired lineup, and I just have no interest whatsoever in the Alfa Romeo lineup at all this year.
Well, the team, Alfa Romeo, the Ferrari, it's an Italian driver for an Italian company, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and that's
why Giovinazzi's there.
The whole thing just seems so just dull and uninspiring. I have almost as little interest. I mean, I've probably got more interest in Haas this year than I have in Alfa Romeo, and that's only because they're going to be box office.
Yeah.
They're going to be the back of the grid car, and they're going to be box office. But anyway, should we move on to actually talking about talking about the upcoming season as we're doing a bit of a preview. So on the 6th of December last year, we did a predictions for next year. So this was before Alex Albon had been dropped and Perez had been re-signed, and which, to be honest, was the basis of my predictions, which is going to render them completely useless. But I'm just going to play a clip from that now. So we picked our top 6 drivers and our top 5 constructors for the season. So this is your top 5 drivers, Karl. Oh, sorry, top 6 drivers, Karl. And you tell me if you think this is any different.
Oh, Hamilton will win next season if he stays.
So you're going Hamilton second,
Bottas, Vettel, Verstappen in third, because we might as well carry on. 4th and 5th is the 2 McLarens.
Okay.
And then 6th will be Vettel in the pink Mercedes.
Do you still agree with that?
Vettel in the pink Mercedes. Well, it's a green Mercedes.
Yeah, it's a green Mercedes now. And it's certainly not Mercedes.
Yeah.
But...
No. Well, it is. It's still the same chassis under there.
Yeah.
I'm not worrying too much about it. But and it is a Mercedes engine still. I don't think I was. Do you know what? I was so distracted by my own voice there. I had no idea what I actually said. What actually got said.
Hamilton,
and
Bottas.
You drinking a cup of tea through it didn't help.
Yeah, sorry. It's coffee anyway. I don't drink tea. It was Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Vettel, yeah.
Hamilton,
I can't remember now either.
Verstappen. I mean, not too far off.
So you're happy with that? You're still going to go with that?
Well,
right.
Hang on. So, what else is the differences? There's no Vettel could be interesting, but it's still unknowns. What else is there? The Haas's aren't going to get anywhere. Schumacher or thingy. The Alphas are not going to get anywhere. Obviously Albon's now left. I don't know, but Checo didn't do too well in the Chico time. Didn't do too well in the thingy bob, did he? In the tests.
Yeah, he did all right. I mean, he's got to move into a new team, hasn't he? He's got to embed himself into a new team. I think. Yeah. The difficulty with Vettel's situation is that he has done something like 80 odd less laps than Stroll, and Stroll obviously already knows that car inside and out. So I think Stroll's going to start the season stronger, but then Vettel's going to come back towards him. But again, we'll probably cover that a bit later on anyway in our teammate battles. But I think Bottas. Yeah, it's difficult to say. I can't even remember what I picked, to be honest. So I'm going to play mine now and see what I said.
It's going to be Hamilton that's going to win. But I think Verstappen will be second in the championship and Bottas will be third. 4th place, Charles Leclerc. 5th place, Carlos Sainz. And then 6th place will be Daniel Ricciardo.
Okay, now that's based on Sergio Perez being out of Formula 1 and Alex Albon being in a Red Bull, so I think that's completely wrong now. I think it's going to be Lewis Hamilton winning. I think over the course of the season, he overcomes the problems with the Mercedes. Verstappen is going to come on strong. He's going to be second in the championship. I think it's going to be Perez third, Bottas fourth, and then...
It will really mix it up and splitting up those Mercedes, won't it?
And then I think it's going to be tight.
If Bottas comes fourth, Bottas is gone this year.
Yeah, I think he's gone anyway. I think Red Bull are going to start strongest. Mercedes are going to come back strong. I think that Hamilton gets the best out of that car. As they drop into traffic, it's going to be Bottas fighting with midfield cars and Perez. And I think Perez will get the most out of that over the season. So it's the 5th and 6th.
What about Ricciardo's and the?
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, McLaren are doing a cracking job, absolutely cracking job. I think they've really come up trumps this year with the issues with switching to the Mercedes power unit. I thought they were gonna fall back a little bit, but they'll be making gains towards the end of the season, going into next season, because this season is going to be a compromise. They're shoehorning a Mercedes engine into a chassis that is meant for a Renault engine. I know that didn't work out too bad for Brawn when they shoehorned a Mercedes engine into their car, but slightly different era and slightly different situation. But I think with that, because they did such a good job last year with bringing in their updates early, planning for this year, I think they're on a real upward trend. I don't think they'll be better than this year, but what is really positive from a McLaren point of view is that Aston Martin appear to have it. They've,
oh, really?
Yeah, they appear to be not where they should be. And if that runs into the season, if they don't get to grips with it, and Vettel doesn't get to grips with it, then what you're going to have Stroll leading the line. I can't see Aston Martin pushing in up for that third place with Stroll leading the line and Vettel taking a while to get used to it. I think if they can, whoever makes hay at the start of the season is the one who's going to end the season in that sort of fifth place. I mean, you've got to say Ricciardo and Norris are the favourites for that fifth and sixth place, but it just depends. I mean, is it going to be? I think it's going to be. No, I don't know, because Ferrari not quite there. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to say it's going to be Ricciardo in fifth, and probably Leclerc in sixth. I think he'll get enough out of that Ferrari to go for it.
Fair. I think it's a danger.
I mean, I honestly thought Ferrari. I mean, you'll hear in my prediction for constructors, I had Ferrari for second in the championship this year. In December, because I thought they were going to make big gains, but I just don't think they are. Now it's just there's not enough gains been made. The other teams have gone too far forward. I don't think they're going to be there now. So straight away, I know that my predictions for constructors is wrong. But yeah.
Okay.
So.
Are we doing F2 or going on to Bruce's predictions?
Oh, wait, no, we've got the constructors yet.
Yeah, you've got it down as F2 season ahead. I'm confused.
Well, no, that's not until later. God, you're reading so far down the list. We've got loads to do yet.
Do you know what? You haven't updated this, and it's higher up than my list.
Okay, possibly, yeah, because I've got teammate battles as well.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
I know.
Anyway,
I thought that, and I was like, why is F2 in the middle of all this?
No.
Right, go on.
Right. So top five constructors.
I'm going Merc, Red Bull, McLaren, Aston, Ferrari.
Okay.
I'm actually on that. Apart from possibly swapping Ferrari with Alpine.
Yeah, possible.
That would be my only possible question.
Okay, let's see what I said, because I think I'm still. I mean, apart from the Ferrari Red Bull thing, I think I'm still close to what I predicted.
So I reckon it's going to be Mercedes win, Ferrari second,
nope.
Red Bull third, McLaren fourth, Renault fifth.
So you haven't got Aston Martin in there at all?
Yeah, I still don't think they're going to be in there. Because I think
they're going to be top five.
No.
I think they're going to be top five, surely.
The thing is, I think you look at last year, and you had four teams going for that third place, and the reason McLaren got it, partially, yes, the Tracing Point had a 15-point deduction, but that McLaren also had a lot of bad luck in the first half of the season, so you can take that into account as well. But the reason that they got that was because they had two drivers that were evenly matched, constantly in that 5th, 6th, 7th place, banging in points week after week, and whenever the top guys dropped out, they were there to pick up 4th places and podiums. They got, I think it was just the 2 podiums they got last year, wasn't it? With Norris in the first race and Sainz in Italy. That's the reason McLaren got that 3rd place in the end. I mean, it should have been racing points if it wasn't for a badly timed engine failure in Bahrain. But hey, I'm not bothered. So Vettel, who is new to that team and has had hardly any testing, and Stroll, who is a decent mid-grid driver, I can't see them pushing forward with a car that is not hit the ground running. I can't see them being that third team. You've got AlphaTauri are looking really strong, but the caveat to that, oh no, he's been sacked, doesn't he? Oh wait, that's caveat. No, the caveat to that is that they've got a great young driver in Tsunoda, who I think is going to be dynamite. They've got Gasly, who is frankly overrated, but has improved. He had a good car last year that was very drivable and made the best out of it, but it was masked by that Italy win. He had some great races in the first half of the season. Don't get me wrong, and he did do well. But I still think he's not a race winning driver yet. He just he got the good positions. He got into the position and held it well. But
it was touch and go him holding that.
Oh yeah. You look at the first lap. He was fighting with Albon and got punted off the track, and he was holding his teammate up, and they pitted him to get him out of the way of his teammate. And then that's when the safety car was thrown. If that race had run normally, then it would have been Sainz.
Sixth.
Yeah, we might even be that high, and Sainz still would have been second because he was there on pace.
Yeah,
Hamilton would have run away with it. Bottas have fallen back, so it's you still got potentially a McLaren double podium there.
Yeah,
and Gasly would have been top 10. So it's if his F1 spelled backwards, as the great Murray used to say. So, and that didn't happen. So yeah, but it's that's why I just don't think that. I think that my point was that Tsunoda's going to be there, but the AlphaTauris were doing glory runs.
He's going to be good, but I don't think him and Gasly are going to be anywhere. But I still to go back to what we were talking about. To what I was talking about, and you've jumped off, is that you don't think the Aston Martins.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. I think the AlphaTauris are looking strong, but they're not as strong as they appear by testing because they were doing glory runs a lot of the time. And they were running with sniffer for oily rag, basically. And Tsunoda was running with the DRS open way too early. And if you look at the onboards from I'm going to put this pen down or I'm going to start clicking it. If you look at the onboards. If you look at the onboards from Tsunoda versus Verstappen on their quick laps, you see that Tsunoda, with the same engine in that car, Tsunoda was going through the gears a lot quicker than Verstappen. So I reckon that Honda were using AlphaTauri to test out the higher engine modes, which is going to flatter their times.
Yeah.
So I think Red Bull are looking very strong. AlphaTauri are looking strong, but not as strong as they appeared in testing. Right. So that's going to put them ahead of Aston Martin to begin with, but I think Aston Martin will be ahead of them eventually. Alpine standing still a little bit. I think they've got this new engine box thing that looks like a beluga whale, everyone's saying, which I think if they're doing something and no one else is doing it, that rings alarm bells for me, because without at the risk of sounding slightly prejudiced against the French, when the French do things...
Be careful, we are live.
Yeah, I know. When the French do things their own way, it tends to blow up in their face because there's a reason why everyone else does it a different way. Yeah. And they can be a little bit arrogant sometimes and think, the French way is the only way. And the same way is a lot of teams do it. They'll the Ferrari will do it the Ferrari way and it will inevitably blow up in their face. And I just think if they're doing things differently, it's obviously not going to be a championship winning car. So if they're doing things differently to everyone else, is it? I can't see it being them moving forwards with that. Mm-hmm. And Alonso and Ocon, I think Ocon is going to be. We'll talk about that in the teammate battles. But so Aston Martin, I don't think they're going to be top 5, or they're going to be fighting with AlphaTauri and Ferrari.
I think you're so wrong, but that's fine.
Cool. Well, we'll see what happens.
I think you're so wrong. I definitely think it's going to be. Yeah, Aston Martin are going to be in there.
Yeah. So based on that,
they're throwing money at this, and that's all that's going to happen.
Based on that, unless Ferrari can really bring some upgrades mid-season, which they're limited by what they can do, it's between Ferrari, McLaren, and Alpine. Then, with my predictions for third, so I think McLaren are favourites for third.
Yeah,
which I didn't think I'd say that.
I'm not. Yeah, I think McLaren are third, which they already are this season. I think. Well, last season. Sorry. I think you can't take out Aston Martin and Alpine, and you can't put Ferrari in there with those two. Ferrari are shit. I know I hate them a little bit.
Mind your language, Karl. Come on, PG.
Oh, we're doing so well. That's the first word.
That's it. Hide your head behind that monkey in shame.
Oh, there, I'm gone. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, you can anyway.
Ferrari rubbish.
were rubbish. Okay, maybe Drive to Survive doesn't help in that situation, but I don't think they're any better. I don't think they've got a car that's worth anything. They've got crap drivers. Let's be honest. Well, sorry, Leclerc's a great driver, but is henpecked. And the Sainz, great driver, but doesn't know the car. Did not do well in testing. You know, it's just like, and he's not going to enjoy that place. Sainz is not going to enjoy Ferrari, and I think it's just going to be painful to watch.
I think it'll take him a while to get going, but once he gets going, he'll be a match for Leclerc.
Yeah, but sorry, yeah, a match for 2, 4, 6, 8, match for 10th to 12th. Do you know what I mean? 10th to 14th. That's where we're at. He's not going to be a match for anything else. Ferrari are not the winning team. And I had this thought about that, it's all about 2022 and everyone's going to go for 2022. I don't think they are. I think 2022 is not going to be as big a race and a bigger season as we think it is with all the changes. That's my prediction really far into the future. I think
it's not going to be a great leveler.
Everyone's like, 2022 is going to level everything. It'll be fun. No, it won't. I think it'll just...
If anything, you'll probably see Mercedes coming out being stronger. This is the year for Red Bull where they've got to throw everything at it, because next year I think probably you're looking at
back to where we are.
Yeah, potentially Mercedes might steal a march again because they are that good a team.
Yeah,
I can really see that happening. Yeah. So should we talk about teammate battles then? So we'll start with we'll do it in reverse championship order, or championship order rather. So starting with Mercedes, probably the easiest question of the episode. Hamilton and Bottas. Who is going to come out on top out of those two?
Oh no, sorry, I went too early there. Hamilton.
Yeah, I can't see. I can't see Hamilton not beating Bottas over the season, especially when you've got other cars that are going to be competitive along with the Mercedes. I think in wheel-to-wheel battles, Hamilton's going to come out on top, and I think it's the beginning of the end for Bottas at Mercedes. Mm-hmm. Unless Hamilton just phones it in and goes home.
Which he's not going to. He's
going
to go out in a blaze of glory. If he's going to go out, he's going to go.
I don't think he's going to go. I think he's going to stay for at least another season, potentially 2 more.
That's what I'm saying. But so if he's going to go out, he's not going. Even if he has a damn squid of a season this time, he's not going to go out in this season.
I'll tell you what I would love though. I would absolutely love it if. Well, I would hate it in one sense, but
because you're English.
Yeah, if you have a situation that transpires where either Daniel Ricciardo or Lando Norris leaves McLaren, which I don't want to happen because those two are my two favourite Formula One drivers in F1 at the moment. But you have a situation where one of them ends up leaving, and then Hamilton decides to finish his career back at McLaren again in 2023, and McLaren have an awesome car in 2023, and then he wins a championship with him.
You can also keep on dreaming.
Yeah, I know.
So the question was Hamilton or Bottas, and it's obviously Hamilton.
Yes, clearly.
Moving on.
Yeah, Red Bull.
Right, let's all pretty much think about Verstappen, because it's Verstappen or Chico time. It's going to be Verstappen because Chico time's not going to have the knowledge that Verstappen has of that car.
Yeah, it's his team, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Perez has got a bit of a habit of clashing with his teammates, so I can see there being fireworks, and if a situation transpires,
taking each other out a couple of times.
Yeah, if a situation transpires where Verstappen has retired from the race in the opening few races, which is very possible, then we end up in a situation where Perez is leading over Verstappen. Verstappen's coming up behind Perez in a race. I don't think Perez moves over.
No, of course not.
And that's going to lead to fireworks because Verstappen's going to spit his dummy out, and Perez is going to, he'll be fighting to stay in that car and prove that he is every bit as good as Verstappen. Yeah. And I can see Perez getting more out of that in a difficult race than Verstappen in some scenarios, but I think over a season it's Verstappen.
And he's the king of nursing tyres. So if there's any chance of any issue and we need to nurse tyres, he's going to be nursing them.
Yeah, potentially.
Although tyres are very different this year.
But he is going to bring a different strategic element in that Red Bull have been lacking since Ricciardo's been there. And just like in that he's a different racer to Verstappen, he's got different strengths. Yeah. Ricciardo was similar. Ricciardo was great at doing an alternate strategy and coming back at the drivers on soft tyres at the end of the race, especially if there was a safety car or a VSC or something. He ends up losing a couple of positions on softer tyres, but getting softer tyres and then coming through to win. Yeah. I can see Perez being that driver that they haven't had. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the battle, but yeah, agreed. It's going to be Verstappen over the season.
McLaren, now here we go. Here's an interesting one. Because you've got Mr. Norris, your boy, who I think we need something for Ricciardo now. I
come from a land down under.
I was going to say that's not in a musical, but it is. Can you think of which musical it's in?
Is it? What's it in?
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Oh, I've not seen it.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't. When have I seen Priscilla?
Were you not with us when me and Mitch?
Nope.
Were you not here with it? Oh, no.
Nope.
When Mackenzie was in it?
Nope. I've never seen Mackenzie as a drag queen.
Mackenzie was the son of a drag queen.
Yeah. Same thing.
I'd just like to clarify that.
He's also the brother of a drag queen, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, we've got the proof of that. Anyway, has he broken any beds recently? Sorry. Such a private joke that literally no one's going to get.
No one's going to get that.
You're going to have to cut that out because no one in the podcast is going to get that.
Don't matter.
Back to McLaren. Lando Norris versus Ricciardo. Ricciardo's the better driver, but Lando's been there longer. Lando, it's his car, it's his baby. There's no first driver. The last two teams, there's definitely a number one driver. There is no number one driver in this team. That's obvious as we speak. It's two very good drivers in a semi-decent car. The same car as last year. I don't think much changed at all, if anything's changed.
Well, yeah, I mean, they brought in some aero upgrades, which actually hampered the car last year to get them ready for this year. So the car will handle differently. There's a lot new on the car, but and obviously with new aero regulations. But yeah, it's interesting because it's Lando's third season now. It's his team. How is he going to fare against Ricciardo? I mean, Ricciardo's had such limited running. This
season, his name is on the line because if he doesn't do well against Ricciardo, he's out.
I don't think he's out. Honest. I mean, I think he's got another year on his contract after this year. I could be wrong on that, but I think he's got so much potential, and I think his baseline right now is probably lower than Ricciardo's, but he's potentially got more to offer long term than Ricciardo has.
Yeah.
I mean, Ricciardo's 32. I mean, he's probably still potentially got like 6 or 7 years in F1. Ricciardo at the top level, depending on how the series pans out in the next few years with the changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to go. I think that Ricciardo is up there with the elite drivers, but has just not been able to prove it in recent years. He's had really bad luck in his last few years at Red Bull, and he's not had a car to fight with since. If he's still got that killer instinct he had when he was at Red Bull, which I think he does have, then I think he'll do Lando over the season. I think Lando will start stronger. He will probably beat him in qualifying over the course of the season, and then I think Ricciardo wins overall because Ricciardo has got a possibility there of getting a win, whereas Lando I don't think is at the point yet where he could convert a good result into a win.
Unless he has a Gasly luck moment.
Yeah.
So Aston Martin, which is
Vettel and Stroll.
Again, we're in the same world of Stroll knows the car because it's his team, it's his baby, literally his baby. It's his
dad. Yeah, he's probably going to get preferential treatment, and I don't know if he will.
I
still think Vettel will do him.
Bearing in mind, Vettel is a world champion. That nods, and the shit time he's had at Ferrari, and also the fact that Ferrari was in the We Hate Racing Point group of people, they're going to want to dick Ferrari with their own team. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be it'll be a Stroll doing it when there needs to be a steady drive, but Vettel will get more higher podiums because he'll go for it a lot more.
I think it's going to be Stroll at the start of the season because he's embedded and knows it so well and knows the team so well, and Vettel's had so little running.
Yeah.
But I think, if Vettel doesn't beat Stroll over the course of the season, I think he's done. I think he's still coming back next year, but if he can't catch up and pass Stroll by the end of this year, then he's a spent force in Formula One.
Yeah. Right. Alpine, which is the Spanish idiot, and
Ocon.
Ocon.
This is so interesting.
This is not interesting at all. Let's talk about this because I am bored already. You have a Formula World champion that I mean, I don't care about. He's like coming back from the grave, and someone who is also in the race. Literally, there is no point talking about these people.
But, okay.
I don't even care because they're going to do well, Alpine, but they're going to be so midfield. There's no excitement with anything because Alonso will come in, go crazy, do amazing couple of drives, and he will be my driver of the day at some point on this. Absolutely. But he'll also be my dick of the day at least 3 times.
Every weekend.
Every other weekend. I'll give him that one. And that's the problem. So he'll either be amazing or
rubbish.
Rubbish. And you've got someone who is also just going to be in the race and does nothing. How is this interesting?
Okay, so
I can't decide.
Do you want to hear my take on this?
Go on.
So, if you look at the first half of last season, I was saying Esteban Ocon was also in the race. And then I tried to keep it going for the second half of the season as much as I could because it gave me lols and I just don't like that guy's face. But he's got that. I don't want to sound like I'm racist towards the French, but he just sits there and he's just like, yes, I'm French. But the live stream
you really
people
don't like the French, do you?
I just there's certain stereotypes around French speaking people sometimes just kind of annoy me a little bit. But again, it's stereotypical. Yeah, I'm weird. I can hear the follows dropping. Saying that, I don't think we. Just to digress slightly, this podcast has been listened to in something like 32 different countries now. I might just quickly digress from this to just check this. I'm pretty sure we've never had a listener in France. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then I don't care. I'm just going to bash the French. Let's have a look.
I'm going to have my challenges to find French. Are you French?
So we've got
listen to our podcast.
Our audience details: 46% UK, 31% US, 3% Sweden, 3% Australia, 3% Ireland, 2% Canada, 2% Germany, 1% Italy, 1% India, less than 1% South Africa, New Zealand, Austria, Russia, Netherlands, France, Norway, Denmark, Latvia, Costa Rica, Brazil, Portugal, Singapore, Bosnia, Hungary, Peru, Greece, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Greece, Hong Kong, the Bahamas, Czech Republic, Spain, Finland, Belgium, Turkey, Venezuela, Japan, Saudi Arabia, and Slovenia. We have not had a single listen in France, so I can be racist.
So I can be racist.
So nobody in France have ever listened to this podcast, according to our analytics.
Right, how many countries are there in the world? Something like 800 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
It's something stupid. There's a lot more countries than you think there is, isn't there? Maybe 800 is a bit extreme. I think there's something like 300 countries in the world. So there's a good number of countries I can be racist to, but you've chosen France.
Yeah.
Right.
No one in France will listen to us. So, yeah.
Right, fine. Right, that's
anyway,
fine.
So as I was saying, if you look at the second half of the season, just to dig me out of this racist hole, you've got, if you look at the second half of the season, in isolation, Ocon matched Ricciardo. He genuinely did.
Right. For points. Or for drivability?
For race performances, for qualifying. Okay. Darren's saying apparently I said France in that list. Did I say France in that list? Apparently I said France in that list. Well, there we go.
So there is a French one, so you can't be racist to the
no!
French.
I'm just going to double check that. Sorry, this is really bad content, I know. Yes, less than 1%. It's all right. We can lose less than 1% of our listeners. I don't mind.
Less than 1%.
Thanks for pointing that out, Darren. So he was absolutely the match for Ricciardo in the second half of the season. And this is the Ricciardo that I think is a top-line driver. Alonso coming back into Formula One after a couple of years away, I think Ocon is going to start the season better than Alonso, and that is going to trigger him. He is going to be He is going to start bad mouth. They're going to fall out. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens between those two.
And he's in
Ocon,
a French team, and there's
Ocon is not the most compliant of drivers. He's fighting for his Formula One future. He is going to want to boss Alonso because he's potentially got a very long-term future with that team if he can beat Alonso over 2 seasons. Yeah. So I think that's going to be an interesting battle there.
And he's Spanish, and we don't like the Spanish either. So.
I still think
that team we don't really like, do we? It's Spanish and French. Like in our little racist world.
I still think over the season Alonso's going to do Ocon, but I think it's going to be closer than people think.
Okay, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens.
Right, Ferrari.
Sainz versus Leclerc. Both should be doing quite well. Both will crash. Both will drive into pillars. Both will break down a number of times. Both will not qualify anywhere near the front. So they're much for muchness. It literally will depend on throwing up a coin and deciding on that day which one's going to come. You can't predict that. There's no way you can predict that.
So again, similar situation to what a lot of people are in. Leclerc's embedded in the team. It's his team. Blah 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 blah. Sainz has been struggling a little bit. Blah blah blah. Sainz actually put in the quickest time of both Ferraris in testing. But again, he probably had a glory run there. I think Sainz is gonna push Leclerc. It just depends how good that Ferrari is. But I don't know. I think Leclerc is going to get... If Ferrari aren't close to the front, then Leclerc is going to get upset and annoyed, whereas Sainz is going to be a bit more casual about it. Mm-hmm. And I think when the emotions come out, potentially Sainz is going to outdo Leclerc in those races. But Leclerc has got that X factor. He can make the difference in that one race. When Ferrari can get a podium, he will get a podium. When Ferrari can get a win, he will get a win. It wouldn't surprise me to see him win a race this year. It wouldn't surprise me to see Sainz getting multiple podiums. I don't think they're going to be where I initially thought they were going to be. So, I think it's Leclerc over the season. But I think, again, like Ocon and Alonso, I think Sainz is a lot closer than people think he's going to be. And I
don't think he's going to be that far from him at all.
Reliability-wise, if reliability falls in Sainz's favour, then Sainz could do him.
Oh, yeah. I think even if he doesn't, I think he'll do him anyway. Well, I don't think he'll do him. I think he'll do him and then lose the time and win him. It'll be a constant battle between them. AlphaTauri, which is...
Tsunoda and Gasly.
Yes, our little Chinese man. Japanese. This was Japanese man. He's small. He's tiny.
He's very small, yeah.
He's really small. And Gasly's quite tall, actually, isn't he?
You think? I always think him as quite short, but no.
Gasly's quite tall. So on that, I mean, Gasly should pit Tsunoda, but Tsunoda did the best times. We know that.
Yeah, I think Tsunoda was doing
Gasly should pit him.
He should do, but again, I think in a similar way to Leclerc, I think those box office results are going to go Tsunoda's way, but also Tsunoda is going to end up upside down against a barrier at some point this season. It's just going to happen. I think Tsunoda's going to have the headlines. Yeah. Gasly's going to get the points.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be Gasly.
Right. Let's just ignore the next team.
Who cares? Who cares? Alfa Romeo. Who cares?
Yeah, no one cares.
It's such an uninspiring lineup.
Yeah. We don't care. It's just copy and paste from last year. Whatever happened last year, that's what's happening this year. Nothing's happening. That's what's happening. Right. Anyway, Haas. This will be the interesting one. Mazepin, I'm going to go crazy, or Mick Schumacher. I'm son of an amazing driver, and I've got a lot of pressure on my shoulders.
I think Schumacher's the better driver,
Yeah.
And
Oh
again,
God, should dig Mazepin.
I've just got this feeling that Haas are going to be right at the back, let's be honest. And it's going to be down to the freak results. There'll be one freak result where Haas scrape a 10th place or something over the season, or maybe a 9th, or it could even come down to 11th places, where like Williams and Haas have got no points, or just the Haas drivers have got no points, and it's who has the most 11th places. I think it's just going to, when there is that weird race, when you've only got 10 finishes, I've just got this feeling that it's going to be Mazepin that gets that freak result. And I think he's probably going to finish above Schumacher.
It's either take the piss out of him and call him Marzipan, or call him Mazepin. Not Marzipan, Mazipan, or whatever you just called him.
Mazepin.
You called him Mazipan just now.
Okay, well, it's Well, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Mazipan, Mazepin, whatever. I don't know. I don't care.
Mazepin.
It's Pan.
Mazepin. Pan?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's how it's spelled. I don't know how it's pronounced. And I don't really care, to be honest. I'll call him what I want.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought I was the abusive one, but actually Tom's taken over this time. Williams, which is Russell and
Latifi. Russell. Move on.
Right.
Well, again, we say that, but, Latifi, had it not been for Russell being called up to Mercedes this year, Latifi would have beaten Russell over the season because he had more 11th places. And the previous year, Kubica was the one who got that headline-grabbing 10th place in Germany. So Russell came behind Kubica in his first year and would have come behind Latifi in his second year had he not had the call up to Mercedes.
If he stays as Super Saturday, we've got a chance. He's got a chance.
But not in the sprint. Not in the sprint races.
Oh, I forgot about the sprint races.
There's only 3 of them though, and there's 23 races. We've still got 20 races for standard qualifying. I tell you what, I was.
That seems like a lot of races we've got.
Yeah, 6 more races than last year. It's like I've heard some people saying about like how many races they think we're actually going to get in this year, and I don't for one moment think that every race is going to happen this year. I think there's going to be some that are going to be postponed / cancelled.
Do you reckon they've overshot it?
Oh yeah, completely. They've backloaded the calendar because they know that some are going to get cancelled. But people are saying that they think 17, 18 races is all they're going to get in this year. But if you think about it, in the midst of the pandemic, when nobody knew what was going to happen or how sport could happen, Formula One managed to get 17 races out when they started in July. We're starting in March, at least 3 months earlier. I mean, I know we're going to lose a month. We're going to lose 3 weeks because of the summer break. So fair enough. So we've got an extra 8 weeks of racing in there. I think we're going to get 20 races at least this year.
Yeah.
Potentially, we might get the full. We might get the full 23. But
I think we probably did the full 23, subject to everything happening. But,
I hope so, but also hope not, because that's a lot. That's a huge calendar.
Like a long calendar. It feels quite tedious in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I was populating the spreadsheet for our predictions later on. Yeah, and it just seemed like, oh my god, I got to Japan. I was like, Japan is normally the season ender, and it's race 17, and we've still got another 6 races.
And the rest?
No, 6 races after Japan.
Or is it?
So Japan race 17 is normally the end of the season, and what used to be the end of the season, it's still race 17, which would normally be the end of the season. But we've got USA, Mexico, Brazil, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and Abu Dhabi all following that race.
Yeah, we'll ignore the last one.
Yeah, and the second to last one. It'd be great if the season, if the championship was won in Australia.
Is the second last one
Saudi.
I'm intrigued by that. I think it's possibly the worst track in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a bit of news that we didn't really talk about.
I watched that virtual onboard, and it's like it's Hanoi without the massive penis in the middle of it.
It's just very long and thin. It's a bit like me.
Yeah.
And not very exciting. Again, a bit like me. You know,
I can see there only really being one overtaking place on that track. There's probably 3 or 4 places that you could overtake.
As I said, it's like Hamilton. It's all about being the big I ams and the big stories, and actually being quite boring. Yeah,
I mean, the only saving grace of that track is the fact that it's a temporary track.
Yeah.
They wanted to get it on the calendar straight away. It's on the calendar, and they've got 2 or 3 years maximum with this track before the purpose-built facility is built.
Yeah.
And then we get a brand new track, which will be a Tilkedrome, which will have massive runoff areas, and it's still going to be another Abu Dhabi probably, but at least we've got, this is going to be worse than whatever they come up with. But, it's only a temporary solution, so I can live with that.
We should also do some random predictions on this one before we go into prediction league. Do you reckon? Right, will someone be confused by the safety cars?
No.
You don't reckon someone's going to get really confused at some point as to which red or green car they're following?
No, I think they're professionals, and they'll. No,
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about presenters or someone just getting very confused by something.
I don't think so.
What was the other one that I was going to say? I came up with one, and I was like,
the safety cars do look good, though.
I do quite like both the safety cars.
Yeah.
There was another random prediction that I was going to think about, and I can't remember what it is now. I will. COVID. How many times will we be playing swappy drivers?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Will we be playing swappy drivers at all, or how many times are we playing swappy drivers?
Yeah, I think most of the drivers are gonna have either had it or. Well, I mean, they won't be vaccinated by now. They might they'll be vaccinated by the end of the season. But I think some of the drivers will start getting vaccinated mid-season. I think we may get one or two. I don't think we'll have many, because I think a lot of people have either had it now and they probably won't get it again this year. Yeah. So, I mean, we've had probably half the grid have had it now. So, I think it could happen still.
Yeah.
But potentially not as bad as it was last year.
Okay. What other random predictions will there be? Do you think of anything? Will any serious injuries this time?
I don't really want to. Yeah, I hope not.
No,
I don't really want to talk about it in that sense.
What other ones? I'm trying to think. We cut that one out of the podcast. I'm just trying to think of other random questions. There must be some other ones. I'll have a think. We do proper.
Yeah, so what we're going to do this year with regards to predictions, we're not going to do a prediction league because we haven't secured any prizes or anything. So we're just going to do our predictions in the room where it happens. And if we've got a guest on, we'll get their opinions as well. Feel free to send your predictions in. And if anyone gets we're changing the rules this year as well. If anyone gets a clean sweep, then we'll mention you on the podcast. So send in your predictions on the socials at Monkeyseatpod, which is just up there. Or Monkeys. Well, it's not going to be on the website. Have you not? Oh, no, you don't. There. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there. If you're on the live stream, there we go. So yes. Darren's just sent in a conversational point, which we'll pick up on in a minute. So that's good. Yes, thank you for listening, Darren. You seem to be the only one on the live stream because no one else is commenting. So what we're going to do is it's going to be 5 points available. Winner, fastest lap, random driver position, which we're going to do on a random. We're going to be a random generator. First retirement, and then if you get all 4, you get a bonus point. So it's 5 points. But we're not going to do a league as such. We're just going to do it between us.
It's a fun-friend league.
Yeah,
gentleman's league.
If you want to send them in, just send them in either DM on Twitter at Monkeyseatpod, or you can just quote tweet it, or on Instagram if you want. We don't really use Instagram that much, to be honest. Or you can send it to monkeyseatpodcast@gmail.com, and if you get a clean sweep, we'll mention you on the podcast. And if we get a prize mid-season, then we might
do per race or something.
Yeah, we might start picking it up mid-race. But so right. We'll jump onto that in a second. Darren has suggested that we talk about will any driver lose their seat mid-season, and I think that's a good shout.
Will any driver lose their seat mid-season?
Like the Albon rule. I mean
the
Gasly rule rather.
Yeah, the Gasly rule. No, because there's possibly depends which story comes out about Mazepin, and he has to get kicked out rather than loses his seat. Everyone else is going to be staying in. There's no one else that's going to be that.
barring injury, which obviously we don't want to happen anyway.
No. So we're not talking about injuries. We're talking about.
I look at the list. I can't see Hamilton or Bottas dropping out. I can't see Verstappen or Perez being replaced. I can't see Ricardo or Norris being replaced.
There's no one to replace Bottas with unless
Leclerc
you go.
Or Sainz.
Well, the only thing
unless you
is,
bring up Russell. But
unless Bottas does so crap for some reason, he just bottles it. He won't. He's still got the thirst to try and win. So that won't happen.
The only possibility is that Alfa Romeo is so bad that Kimi just goes and just walks out. It's a possibility.
Nah, he doesn't. He's there for the cash check. That's the only reason I can think as to why he's there.
Well, he's not there for cash. He's just there because it's a hobby, and that's the point. It's a hobby for him. So he might just get bored and just go, do you know what? I can't be asked for this anymore. There might be a young driver coming in that brings some cash, and they say, do you know what, Kimi? Do you fancy like what Lotus did? Lotus ran out of money and couldn't pay Kimi, so he had a inverted commas back injury, and then they drafted in Heikki Kovalainen to replace him.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing, of course, we can mention is young Mr. Mazepin obviously cannot race under the Russian flag.
No, he's racing in the Russian flag.
No, he's racing in the Russian flag, yeah. It's the colours of the United States in the wrong order, but yeah. It's not going to happen, but if he were to get on the podium, apparently he would have to nominate a national anthem because he can't use the Russian national anthem.
Well, yeah. The thing is, who does he go with? Yeah.
So, what do you reckon? Well, what would you do? I would have Baby Got Back.
I think there is the Olympic national anthem, which basically been covered by the Russians because the Russians can't join the Olympics. Yeah. So it's an Olympic anthem which they might be able to race under. They could do it under the Formula One anthem, the music from Formula One.
That's a good shout.
Because they have an official anthem, don't they? So, so probably it'd be under the Formula One anthem. Is my bet on that one. Okay, so should we do this week's predictions?
Let's do some predictions then. So, who do you think will win the race?
Oh, Jesus, right. Bahrain. Hamilton won it last year. Well, the second version of it. Which
Perez won Sakir. And who won Bahrain? Did Hamilton win Bahrain? I can't remember now.
Hamilton was back for one. So, yeah, Hamilton won.
Hamilton was out for Sakir. Perez won Sakir. I can't remember who won Bahrain last year.
Hamilton won Bahrain. Yeah, because he came back. Oh, did he?
No, he didn't come back. No, he missed Sakir, which was the second one. I can't remember who won it, you know? That's really bad. Yeah. Maybe it was Hamilton. He did seem to win an awful lot. I think he did win it.
Yeah.
Yes, because it was the race after Turkey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he did win it. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah. What do you reckon for winner then?
Winner, chicken dinner. Well,
I'm going Verstappen.
No, I'm going to go Hamilton. Classic. Go Hamilton.
Cool. Fastest lap.
Verstappen.
I'm going Bottas. First retirement.
Right. First retirement.
I am going Mick Schumacher. Potentially punted out by Mazepin.
I'm going Sainz.
Sainz. Oh, okay.
Punted out by Leclerc.
Yeah. Right, so now this is the fun part, the random driver generator. Okay. What I've done is I've got all the drivers listed in championship order from last year, and the new people are tagged onto the bottom, and they are in constructors order. So, for example, Fernando Alonso, the first new guy, he's number 17. Yeah. Yuki Tsunoda is number 18. Schumacher number 19 because he finished above Mazepin last year, and Mazepin is number 20. So I've tacked in 1 to 20 in a random number generator, and the result is number 16. So Nicholas Latifi. Where is Nicholas Latifi going to finish?
He's going to finish number 19th because someone else is going to, there will be a retirement.
Okay. I am going to go 16 because I think there's going to be some attrition. So he's going to finish 16th. Cool. And then obviously if you get all 4 of them right, there'll be an extra bonus point, so 5 points awarded in total. Cool. That's good. That's good fun.
Go. I think that's going to be better this year. We were debating. We got a bit bored with first, second, third because it got very
Yeah, Hambot there,
Obvious.
Ham Verbot,
And, yeah,
occasionally Ricardo, occasionally Sainz.
So it got very boring.
Who
So
cares about pole, because it's going to be
So we're trying to
Mercedes.
see whether this year, whether we can buzz it up ourselves, and then we'll see whether we can get it restarted for the next season.
Yeah.
But let's see whether we can create some engaging content.
Yay!
But that's it, really. So we've managed to drag out having no news, nothing to talk about.
Do you want to talk about Extreme E?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Extreme E is coming to ITV in 10 days' time.
Make sure you watch it.
So, yeah, the ITV has actually got it. So that's quite exciting. And I think they're sharing it with BBC for the first year, but then the second and third year, they're now going beyond, they have exclusive rights, but they're also doing magazine programs and everything else. But ITV, which is a bit random, it'll end up on ITV3 somewhere. I don't know if it's ITV1. So it could end up in the back end of nowhere. But, I'm looking forward to seeing Veloce Racing and X44
and hopefully we should get. I need to email Ian actually, but we should be having Ian Davis on after that, the first race as well. So that'll be great. I am looking forward to it. We won't cover it as in as much detail as we cover these open wheel formats and stuff. And I am absolutely buzzing about the start of the new season. I cannot wait. I think it's great. I'm obviously a huge Formula One fan. I've been watching Formula One for nearly 30 years now, and I absolutely love it. And I've been a fan of the junior series for 4 or 5 years as well, probably maybe even longer than that. I've been a part-time Indy fan, and I've kind of looked at Formula E. But what I've really loved about this last year, and we are nearly a year old now, is that I've really got to know these other formulas, and I think every formula that we cover offers something different. And yes, we are going to put a lot of bias towards Formula One, because for me it's the pinnacle, and it is where we it's our kind of almost like our national pride, because so many teams are based in Britain. It's also the easiest one to bloody well watch. Yeah, exactly. But I've been really enjoying. I've learned so much about IndyCar in the last year with some great guests that we've had on, and some really good racing.
Stefan and Tino.
Yeah, I've learned a hell of a lot about IndyCar. I've learned a hell of a lot about Formula E, and we're very lucky that Charlie is coming on with us for a lot of races this year. And
next week we've
got Laura, because Formula 2 and Formula 2 starts next week. Formula 3 starts the week after. So we've got Laura back on with us, and Formula 2 I think is going to be a cracking year this year with Piastri and Schwartzman in Prema. That's going to be a great lineup there. You've got some good junior Renault juniors coming through. You've got Christian Lundgaard in ART with Theo Porcher. You've got Guan Yu Zhou in UNI Virtuosi with Felipe Drugovich. You've got Dick Tantrum in Carling with Jan Jaruvula. So it's going to be that's going to be a great season as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what Beckman can do in Formula 3. It's going to be fun to watch these junior formulas as well, and I quite like the fact that we've not got Formula 2 and Formula 3 on the same race weekend now, because it saves stressful. I think Formula 3 has always been it's been the bridesmaid of the junior series, so that it's going to get a lot more focused now, and I think it deserves that.
And we now need to look at W series as well.
Yep. And this is
start.
That's a little way into the season. Okay. That starts, bear with me, W Series first race is not until France, which is the 27th of June.
Oh well. And we won't do a podcast on that one because no one in France listens.
In fact, Formula 3, I beg your pardon, doesn't actually start until Barcelona. Formula 3 season, which is, to be fair, we've got F2 starts in Bahrain, and then we've got nothing in F2 until Monaco. And then we've got Barcelona, F3 starts in Barcelona. So, yeah.
And Bez is coming on for Barcelona.
He is, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, they're starting the start of our second season that we're covering, and we haven't reached a year yet, because obviously we started around this time a year ago, but our first race was in July. But thank you to everyone who's joined us over the last year. As I mentioned earlier, so many countries. It just absolutely blows my mind to think that people in all those countries are hearing our voices. It's and even watching us on YouTube as well. Yeah. It's just insane, and I love the support we've had. Please, more of you get involved. and reach out to us, contact us. We want this to be a podcast that people feel that they can get involved with, and even have guests on occasionally. And we do this for nothing. We don't get paid for this. This is completely our baby, completely self-funded. We are looking to get some sponsors in, but more that's just to grow our audience rather than financial gain. Any sponsorship we get is not going to be it's not going to be lining our pockets. It's just going to be to allow us to continue what we're doing. So thank you to everyone who's listened over the last year, and I cannot wait to start this second season with you all, and hope you all stay.
Cool. There, Tom said it.
Gushy status over. Very sorry.
Jesus Christ, we'll all be crying in the aisles in the end. Right, on that note, piss off.
You can't swear on YouTube, Karl.
I don't know, piss off. There we go. Right, anyway, back to normal. That's the problem with going live. Are we live next week with Laura? Is Laura coming live?
I will ask her. If she's willing, we will.
Oh, God help us.
Well, it depends on her.
I've got to be on best behaviour then. Right. Yeah. Okay. I shall speak to you. We'll speak to you next week.
We will. And it is. Bye-bye.
Bye. I've never listened to this.
Have you not?
Weird bit, yeah. Like you're actually listening to this outro.
Well, yeah, this is normally where I would stick an outtake from the show at the end of it. However, we've got
one slight problem.
Yeah, we both realised about 10 minutes into the live stream, in our haste to get the thing going, we both forgot to hit record. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rip the audio from YouTube and stick it up for the podcast. So apologies if the audio quality isn't quite as good as it is normally.
Are you going to have to explain that at the beginning of the podcast?
No, just leave it. It's the old theatre thing. You never apologise for a performance before a performance.
Okay.
You can apologise after, but if you apologise before, then people are looking out for it.
So you're now going to do we apologise for the shitness of this. Oh, no, I can't swear again. We apologise for the rubbishness of this podcast. That's because Dumb and Dumber here forgot to press the button.
Yeah.
It's not even like one of us forgot the button.
Yeah, we both forgot. I ripped Karl a few weeks ago when he forgot. I'm going to have to put it in the show notes from now on that we have to hit record.
Hit record.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Because actually, you've got in the show notes. Before starting episode, open all Facebook groups and post links on live stream in them.
Yeah, but I didn't put press record.
You need to put press record.
Also, just mention as well, Darren again has put it in the chat. Apparently, Johnny Dumfries has died, which is a shame. Obviously, he's ex Lotus driver. So
thank you for explaining that. We didn't actually mention what's her name dying either.
Sabine Schmidt. Yeah. Another sad one.
Great. So we're quite.
Oh, did you see?
You do realise we're still live, so
yes. No, that's fine. This is the post show. This is what people tune in for.
The post show. No one's tuning in for the post show.
No, people were blowing up on Twitter and Facebook about Top Gear not like featuring the fact that Sabine Smits died, but
because it's pre-recorded, you knob cheeses.
Exactly, it was recorded last year.
It's like they allowed. Anyway,
yeah, it's fine. So it's like they mentioned it at the start of the show. Apparently, I didn't see the start, but I saw someone say they put up an announcement at the start, and then they put the tribute at the end. So yes, they didn't feature it because it was pre-recorded. Of course, how can they? What, they look into the future? So yeah, that made me laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And also, actually, they were Chris did stuff, but the other two presenters didn't. But I suppose Top Gear, she was a member of Top Gear at some point.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
What is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Like, my intrigue is, will they do something on the F1 show from Murray Walker and Bahrain?
I hope so. I mean,
that's something I want to talk to you about, the predictions. Will they do the Black Lives Matter end racism thing this year?
Good point. Yeah, I think they'll still do an end racism thing, but whether it's like something they do every race, I don't know.
Are we going to do the kneel and everything like that, or is that?
Yeah, I'll take the knee bollocks. I hope that. It's one.
I suppose it's the last episode of Drive to Survive, so I'm intrigued by it because Hamilton opens up about his being black. That's literally what it says on the thing. It's like. Okay. So we'll see. But anyway, I'm bored of this podcast.
Let's end the live stream. Thank you.